Okay, I'd like to call to the City of Apache Junction Council meeting to order. The invocation will be led by Vice Mayor Rizzi and the pledge by Councilman Evans.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege of being gathered here today to do the city's business on behalf of our constituents. We ask that each of us be guided by you in the decisions we make that will affect others and not by any personal agenda or ego. We ask to be humble in our disagreements and that we never forget we are here to serve the people of this beautiful community. Father, we ask for your continued protection for all of our first responders, those serving in our military, and their family members. We ask that they be brought home safely each and every day. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Wilson,
Here.
Vice Mayor Rizzi,
Present.
Councilmember Evans,
Here,
Councilmember Heck,
Here.
Councilmember Johnson,
Here.
Councilmember Nesser,
present.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Here.
You have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. And before I call for a motion for consent agenda, just for everyone to know that you can go online and look at our work session last night, because there's several items on consent agenda, and look at it. So do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Your Honor, I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember Schroeder,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rizzi,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Councilmember Evans,
Yes.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes, Your Honor.
Awards and presentations and proclamations. Liz.
Good evening, Your Honor, members of the council. It is my great honor tonight to share a 25-year service recipient, and I'm just going to quickly get to my agenda. Thank you, Matt. All right. Miss Jamie Sullivan is in the very back of the room with her family right now, and we'll let her sit there for a few minutes while I share a little bit about her, and then we'll bring her up here. So Jamie, as many of you know, has been with us, well, obviously it's her 25-year service award. Those are just her full-time years, so she actually started with us much sooner than that. She started with us as a part-time, just a young high school-aged student. Jamie, her mom, who is here today, met with Jeff Bell, our former Parks and Rec director, for her first interview. Her mom, Jamie likes to tell the story of going to her first interview and bringing her mom with her. That was June of 1993. She worked part-time for us since 1993, and then she moved into a full-time role in 1997. She started at $4.25 an hour back in those days. Jamie and I both started part-time together, and nearly 30 years later, I've worked very hard to match her passion, creativity, and love for this community. I say all the time, I'm never the one with the ideas. I'm not the creative person. That's definitely Jamie, and I look to her to make sure that that's always happening, and she's definitely never let our community down in that regard. She worked for us for many years in the full-time field in special interest classes, doing special events, and then also our summer programs. Later on, Jamie became our first facility manager for the Multi-Generational Center, the award-winning Multi-Generational Center. Jamie was the leader who was involved from the get-go. So she helped with all of the programming of that facility, the design. She was there every week for construction meetings and to keep people on their toes and make sure that they were doing what she wanted. She's also the one who led making sure that it was operational whenever we opened. I remember that Jeff Bell used to say, you know, we hope people are proud of this facility and that they, you know, certainly think that it looks great and that they're proud of it, but what we really care about is that when people come, that they will feel like they're welcome and that they will actually talk about our customer service much more so than the beautiful building. And Jamie definitely was the leader at that facility that made sure that that was the case. So her team executed so many new programs that we would never have had if it weren't for the Multi-Gen Center and for Jamie's leadership. The Heal Yourself Wellness event was kind of an idea from a community member, and community member sat down with Jamie, and instead of just thinking, oh, we can't do that, she got all those people working on it. And so 20 or so volunteers that first year, they put together the event, and Jamie was the one who kind of kept it going all of those years. Other really great, like, things that are our annual, people look forward to every year, our Mad Scientist event. Again, it's Jamie's leadership that brought us a lot of these activities and events. Certainly her staff deserves so much credit, but truly without Jamie's leadership, I think that is truly one of the testaments, is the staff that wants to do other great things there. She was Young Professional of the Year in 2011. That was presented by the Arizona Parks and Rec Association. I think the mayor was vice mayor maybe at the time at that one and was able to join us for that awards presentation. And so we are really, really proud of her. That's our state association. Those are our colleagues throughout the state. Jamie's been very involved with the Arizona Parks and Rec Association all of these years. She takes her networking and learning from all of those colleagues across the state very seriously. In addition to what she does, on site, she is truly known just because she connects so well with staff, building relationships both inside and outside of work. So doing various runs, always involved with some of our different events, and this one is Flatiron Hike. Jamie, I think she cried most of the way up there, but they got her all the way up there. I haven't done Flatiron, so I'm pretty freaking impressed. I think that's really awesome. She's always the one that is trying to make sure that we're the winners. She's the most competitive out of everybody on our team. We were dodgeball champs one year. We haven't been able to make the kickball champs or any of the other things that we've done. She's also always willing to dress up for a good cause. So Roger Hacker, our former revenue development coordinator, had a harebrained idea that we were going to get Ben & Jerry's to sponsor some of our events. We did get some ice cream out of them, but he had all of our staff dress up, and Jamie definitely took it really seriously. She's always up for dressing up. Halloween is probably her favorite holiday. Definitely always make sure that our Halloween event is one to remember. In addition to what she does at work, I think it's really important to note that what I think is really special about Jamie is that not only is she a great friend and coworker and supervisor, but she's really the greatest mom in the world. And both of her kids are here today, and her husband, as well as her mom and other family members. But she's super devoted to her family, and I just can't think of a person more that puts in the hours she does at work, but still finds time to do really special and fun things with her family and make sure that they're number one in her life. And I think that's really a great testament to Jamie. During our pandemic time and COVID, where a lot of people really struggled, I think I just turned off the entire system. So you'll have to just bear with me for one quick second. During the pandemic, it was a really challenging time. We really weren't sure all the time, what was the best course of action. But the one thing that Jamie made sure of is that we didn't sit around floundering and woe is us and we can't do things. She found other ways to do it. She led a staff that brainstormed and came up with ways to deliver things in a different way, that connecting with our community was still the most important thing. So whether that was creating make and take art projects that people could come and pick up, or rec bags, having our movies in the park out at the rodeo ground so people could do a drive up and still stay distance, all of our events. So our events already take a whole lot of time. To reconfigure them to be drive-through or to do something else is a whole lot of work. Jamie and her team really just put so much effort into that, making sure that our seniors still had meals, no matter who it was that was out there doing a drive-through option, but coming up with ways to continue our important and essential And valuable services, I think, is something that, again, there's just not a lot of people like Jamie. Her most popular, though, was rock painting with Jamie, so she led a very extensive video series for a while of rock painting, even from her home, that we aired. And they're so popular that she has them now. So on Friday nights, you know, after she's been working her regular week, on Friday nights, about once a month or so, she has a rock painting night. We've had anywhere from 20 people to 100 people show up for these, and it's really taken off. I don't even think we knew she was creative. We didn't know she was artistic, so let's just say that, and she is amazing. The most recent project that she's been heavily involved in was our dog park. So while Dave and I and Kelly were involved with more of the park itself and construction and security, Jamie led our team in working with our citizen focus group to talk about what are the rules that the community wants and what are some of the operational items that our community needs. She led the efforts for our corporate partnership program with Fox Young. She led her staff in the planning for our ribbon cutting and our grand opening, all of our educational materials that go out. That's her team that has done that, and again, has been such a great leader in all of those regards. So that concludes my presentation on Jamie. My last thing is just that she's family to me. She's definitely one of the very few people that I would not want to do my job without, and that we would definitely truly miss if she was not here. So if we could just have a big round of applause for Jamie.
Yeah.
And then I'll turn it over to Bryant. He has some other things to share.
Thank you, Liz. Jamie, come on over. We'll share a little bit of hardware. She's coming up. I want to share a couple items. Jamie's just a delight, isn't she? And we are very blessed to have her as part of our team. In 2001 or 2, I can't remember when, Jamie and I had an opportunity to go together through a city manager at the time encouragement to learn how to be supervisors, right? AGTS, Arizona Government Training Services. And so from then I could tell Jamie just had a special light. And I knew that she was going to be a leader over a long haul in our organization. If any of you have ever been around Jamie, she's one of those folks where after you're kind of with her or hanging out with her, you're like, oh my gosh, that was awesome. I want that spirit, I want that light and that encouragement. And when you think about the essence of leaders, it's that ability that a person knows that they care about you and loves you. And Jamie has that. Hope she never leaves. I hope we have another 25 years with her, Jamie. But what an honor to have your family here. No, I didn't think so. To have your family here with us. Husband, family, as well as your mom. It's always one of the favorite parts of the time to be able to honor those who serve. We are a service organization. We exist to serve our fellow citizens. That's the whole point. So Jamie, I have here with me 40 hours of paid time off. Get that?
Yeehaw.
Even though I know you'll start doing that. And then we have here a plaque I'd like to read, and then we'll give this to you. With deep appreciation and thanks for 25 years of service to the City of Apache Junction, Jamie Sullivan, 1997 to 2022. Thank you. All right. Your Honor, would you be able to come down? We're going to take a photo with Jamie and with Liz and myself. And then, Jamie, I'm going to give you this, and we'd love to hear from you. I know you've never walked away from a microphone. I know wherever there's a pancake event or any event, I listen for Jamie's voice. Let's go back in the light.
They all look like they just graduated high school.
I know.
Can't believe she's 25 years, no way.
She started when she was 10.
Mayor, Council, I know Joel is cringing. That was way more than 5 slides. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Uh, 30 years is one of the longest relationships I've had, and I'm fortunate that it has been with the city. Yes, my family has, I raised my kids in Parks and Rec. My daughter says I couldn't do it, you don't make enough money, and my son says you work too hard. I couldn't do it. Both of those are true. So they got to see that firsthand. My husband has taken a back seat and supported my job. Sorry, I get a little choked up. He reminds me when I need the reminder that we do important work and that my job is important, mainly for my retirement. But still, I like to believe it's because he really supports what I do. So I love you, honey. Yes, my mom came with me to my first job interview, I think because she wanted to make sure I actually got a paying job, and it stuck. But it's my team. It's my second family. And that's what you guys gave me. The council members, the mayors, I think you need to realize that when you raise kids here, and they live here, and they grow up here, and we work here, you guys are my family, and I owe that to you. And I think that's why it's stuck, is you don't leave family. And I'll retire from here as long as you guys keep me. But I think it's important for the people who don't work here to know that I always felt noticed at 16 when you have a public works director, when you have a police chief, when you have you know, the city clerks, they know who you are at 16, 17, 21. I was always had a seat at the table. My voice was always heard. And again, that is that family. Not to say it was always pretty. I didn't always agree. I still won't. But we keep coming back to each other. And you will hear from the state that, you know, people in Parks and Recreation, they want what AJ has. And yes, that is because we created that. We have each other's back, and we work together as an amazing team. But it is the environment, the whole environment, that helps foster that. So I'm done, Joel. I know. But thank you guys. Thank you for the support for me, my family, and our department.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie. And I'm going to relate one quick little story. Is one of the things that I did, I met you the first time when I was involved with Superstition Horsemen's Association. And right away, I knew who you were. Anyone that said Jamie, I knew exactly who it was. So thank you. You're very open and got very personable, and everyone enjoys working with you. Thank you. Okay. Do we have any current events from us on the council? No. Well, I have a quick one. As you all know, I sit on the Phoenix Gateway Airport Board, and today we had our monthly meeting. And one of the interesting facts I thought that would pass on to everybody, the month of April was the largest number of passengers that have used the airport to date in, or recorded months anyway. And that was over 1,771, got to get the number correct anyway. 171,000 passengers went through the airport in the month of April. Month of May seems to be, they haven't got the totals yet, but it seems to be even more. And right now they feel that the month of June is going to be exceeding it as well. So that, I'm going to say, wonderful activities that we have down there for future use. And I encourage everybody to keep an eye on it and possibly even use it when needed. Since January to April, there's been over 1.5 million people that have gone through that airport. So it's getting very heavily used. They're expanding the gates to increase 5 more gates. So it's growing. For job-wise, Sky Bridge is breaking ground for additional expansions to increase their footprint in the facilities. And finally, the dedication and operational use of the new control tower will be happening in August and be full operational by the end of the month. It's going to be a new control tower with new equipment and be able to handle a lot more. So I'll bring you up to date on what's going on out there at the Mesa Gateway. Okay, City Manager's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. Brian Powell, City Manager. Tonight, I'm really excited to share with you a joint Pinal County and Arizona Department of Emergency Management project and the city that deals with, I don't know if we've got that map. Nope. There we go. So for many years, the stormwater plan has been a huge issue in terms of those monsoon months as Weeks Wash brings in so much water off the alluvial plain of the Superstition Mountains. We as a community take on so much. And Mike Weaver, our Public Works Director, has been working closely with these other two entities, and we're starting the process on a multi-use detention facility near the border of Apache Junction and unincorporated Pinal County, and Weeks Wash near Lost Dutchman and in between 88 in that area. So there's a map of it, and the process is starting to learn about this and to understand it a little bit more. We're announcing tonight public meetings starting this Wednesday at the Multi-Gen. If folks in the community want to come and learn about that, 4 o'clock on Wednesday, this Wednesday, June 22nd, and then another one at our Multi-Gen Recreation Center, Thursday, July 7th at 4 p.m. This has been an identified need, and it's always been just one of those things where money hasn't come together. So the combination of potentially millions of dollars, up to $7 million in a grant from the federal government and from Arizona Department of Emergency Management, some of our funds, and potentially Pinal County will be able to get this project designed. So this is just the very first step of getting information out to the public. Wanted everybody to know that. Thank you, Al. And then for our manager report tonight, we're super excited to have our Centennial folks. But before that, Al, you had a couple items, correct?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Powell. Mayor Wilson, members of the City Council, Al Bravo, Public Information Officer for the City of Apache Junction. Have a couple of announcements, but I wanted it started because this is obviously something very close to our hearts, and I know Councilmember Schroeder and Councilmember Evans have been very much involved in a lot of stuff going on over at the community garden at the Earth Heart Park at Horizon Health and Wellness, right down the street from us here on Superstition. And LaVere Kurtz actually has a couple of real brief comments that he wanted to make about the next thing coming up over at the garden. So, LaVere, it's yours.
Good evening, Council and Council members. My name is LaVere Kurtz. I am the Earth Heart Park Community Garden Coordinator over at Earth Heart Park, where Horizon is. I just wanted to bring up a couple things. Over the summer, we won a $15,000 grant from the Circle K Conserve, and some of the things we did is we planted 18 different trees, about 70, 80 shrubs, and then we also created a beautiful pollinating garden over there, so things are really coming around. May and June, we supplied 135 pounds of fresh produce to the garden refrigerator inside Horizon's lobby that have gone to the community and the patients at there. And also, this is kind of big. I was a Maricopa Master Gardener, and I switched over to Pinal County. So I'm happy to say that we've partnered with Pinal County Master Gardener Program so that all Master Gardeners in Pinal County can now get their volunteer hours at the garden, and it'll count towards their certification at the end of the year. So that's pretty big. And so myself and a couple other volunteers have switched over to Pinal County so that we can get our volunteer time there and encourage more people to come around and become Master Gardeners and get involved with what's going on over at Horizon, because it's doing really, really good. And I just wanted to thank some of the sponsors that have really been helping us out over the year. Horizon Health and Wellness, Cabot's Ace Hardware for the generous donation of our garden fence That was really, really awesome. So now the javelinas can't come in and eat all of our vegetables anymore. And the rabbits, which they don't like arugula. And then Three-Phase Mechanical and also Phoenix Metro Towing for their donations for our Christmas event last year. We will also have another Christmas event this year. We're going to have a Halloween event for Oktoberfest. And then also at the Apache Junction Library, I know there was the young gentleman, Lloyd, who started the seed bank there before he went off to college. And I decided that I want to keep that going for this young man so that when he comes back from college, he can look and say, look, these guys kept this going. So I've been working directly with Vicki at the library. July 9th, we're going to have a seed class there where we're going to talk about different seeds, and then we're also going to fill up seed packs that will be going into the seed bank. And I will keep that going so that we can continue to provide the community with some seeds that they can take home and plant and grow their own vegetables. But thank you.
Hey, Lavere, you've really brought that place to life. It's incredible the things you've accomplished there. The city should really feel fortunate to have you. If anybody hasn't been to this park, you need to go. It's a miraculous what you've done, and we want to thank you for that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of great volunteers, dedicated volunteers that come out every hot day, every cold day, windy day. They're out there all the time. We love doing what we're doing, and it's good for healing and helping people out. I can't tell you how many people that I've ran into throughout the city that were like, oh, we love that park. We've gone there. That's one of the best things about their appointments when they go to Horizon there is they get to walk through the park afterwards. And that personally makes me feel great to have somebody that I have no idea who they are come up to me and say that, hey, thank you, you're helping.
Well, it should.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lavere. I did want to acknowledge, I think the mayor has the plaque there, right there in front of us there. If you can't see it, you can see it a little bit better on the screen right now. The AJ Little League baseball and softball teams did bring this plaque over to the city in acknowledgement of our support, and also sent one over to the Parks and Recreation Department. This particular one is the softball team, manager David Haro and coach Corey Acevedo's team. You may have heard Mr. Acevedo, he passed away during the season this year, so it's nice that we get a chance to see his last team as the acknowledgement of our support, which of course we love our little leaguers, and we wish them all the best as they go on through the rest of the season, although I think that season is just about completed by now, and we'll see them again next year. So thank you on behalf of the city and the Parks Department for that acknowledgement from the AJ Little League. Public meetings, don't forget that the city manager mentioned tomorrow afternoon on July 7th. If you want any more information on that particular project, it is on the city's website. Please go to ApacheJunctionAZ.gov for all the details. Sort of as a public service announcement here, I'm going to remind folks, or at least let them know if they're not already aware, that there's going to be 2 candidate forums for our mayoral and council member elections. The election's coming up in August, and Madam Clerk, when's early voting? First week of July? I believe. But you get a chance to actually meet all the candidates at these 2 forums. One is tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. It is sponsored by the Apache Junction Independent. That's over at the VFW behind the Chamber of Commerce off of Phelps, just south of the trail. That's at 1 o'clock tomorrow. And then the Chamber of Commerce itself will be hosting its candidate forum, both mayoral and council, on Monday night right here in the chambers at 6 p.m. On Monday evening, and of course the public is always invited. Okay, we do have one more presentation for the evening, and the chair of the Centennial Committee, of course we've been celebrating our 100th year of the founding of Apache Junction, and the chair of the Centennial Committee, Braden Biggs, is here to present some checks, I'm told. So, Braden.
Thank you, Al. Braden Biggs, chairman of the Apache Junction Founder Centennial Committee. So just a little over 6 months ago now, we celebrated Apache Junction's 100th year celebration in January 8th of this year. However, in August 22nd is the actual day, so just right around the corner there. So we are celebrating throughout the year. But to lead up to January, we spent 3 years really preparing for that, raising funds, securing a location, really getting ready to put on that community event. And after everything, so many of the members of the Centennial Committee are here today as well to help represent. But after all of that, after all of the community donations and of course the event going on, we raised a total of $50,766.23. And we spent $36,547.88, leaving us with $14,218.35 left over. None of us anticipated that 3 years ago. None of us really anticipated that even a year ago. Our goal was to just break even. So simply to be able to raise $50,000 for essentially what was a one-day event truly brings meaning to Apache Junction's motto of surrounded by legends, because without this community, none of that would be possible. Without the amazing sponsors and funders and community donors, as well as the volunteers who helped to put this event on, truly we are all incredibly thankful for that. But that left us with a little bit of a problem: what to do with $14,000. We had discussed quite heavily amongst the group, do we give back to the community? Do we try to do an art piece? What exactly happens? So we've kind of done a little bit of both. We are in the process, and I know this was shared several times throughout the last year, of doing a monument sign that will be put up at the Chamber of Commerce here in the coming months. And that is to dedicate for the commemoration of the 100-year centennial. But then we've also been able to set aside a little bit of money for the remainder of the year as we continue to put on events. We will be at the 4th of July event. We're going to be at the Veterans Day Parade, Festival of the Superstitions, and then the Winter Festival as well, and a couple of other things throughout the year as well. So we're not done celebrating this year. And then we were able to actually give out about $10,000 is what we set aside to be able to give out to various organizations. So in that, and I will be presenting these checks here, so if I could have a representative from each one of these agencies come up as I read through this list. We have $1,000 for EVIT and Apache Junction Unified School District, and they're receiving that because our EVIT kids helped us actually put together the monument sign and go through that process. So we were able to bring in our local high school kids to that. I don't believe Heather Wallace or a representative of the high, oh, you are here, Chris, awesome. And also $1,000 to the Apache Junction High School ROTC. They're the ones who helped put on the car show, and they ran that in partnership with Kelly Grummel to make sure that that happened, which was a spectacular piece in addition to our whole event. $500 to the Superstition Mountain Promotional Corporation. In addition to obviously what they do throughout the year with Lost Dutchman Days, they helped push out our event throughout the entire community and throughout their entire distribution list. So we want to offer them a $500 sponsorship to sponsor the upcoming Lost Dutchman Days. We are doing $1,000 to the AJ Chamber of Commerce for their scholarship program so that they're able to do 2 scholarships directly to our high school seniors this upcoming year. $1,000 to the Superstition Horsemen's Association, $500 for the Future Pony Express ride as they're trying to kick that off every year, and then $500 is specifically earmarked for future horse safety control and outreach, as that is a huge need within our community. We wanted to donate $1,000 to the AJ Parks and Recreation Department for the future beanbag toss and burro derby races. That's actually something that we used to have in the community, and it kind of went away, and that's one of the things that was kind of relaunched with the Centennial as well. So $1,000 to the AJ Mounted Rangers. They do an amazing job in our community, as we all know that, especially during the holidays, working at Walmart and some of our various other businesses. What many may not realize is they stayed the full 24 hours before the event and camped out at Prospector Park to make sure that everything was secure, nobody broke in, nobody stole anything, and that everything could get set up and taken care of by our vendors. $500 to the AJ Police Explorers program. And then $500 to the Community Development Corporation's Make a Difference Day to sponsor the upcoming Make a Difference Day in October, on October 7th. And then $1,000 to Paws and Claws, because, you know, you just can't leave out the puppies and kittens. And then $1,500 to the Apache Junction Public Library, who graciously hosted us over the last 3 years on a monthly basis, a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis, to really provide us that space so that we could meet and get everything taken care of. Without any of these organizations, this entire event wouldn't be possible. And then, of course, if I could also have all of the Centennial members come up as well for a picture real quick with members of council, because without any of their work over the last 3 years, absolutely none of this would have been possible. And while they're coming up, I also want to mention for any members of council or of the Centennial Committee who hasn't gotten one, I did have these made up for each one of the members as well as members of council as just a commemorative plaque to remember everything that we've gone through in the last year. And with that, I will definitely get the checks out, and then if you guys could come down and we'll grab some pictures. Or stand there.
Yeah, you could do a couple of rows, Jamie.
Should we just
Yeah,
stay behind?
Jamie's.
Should we just stay behind, like stay here? Hey, why don't we just stay here? Why don't we just stand behind?
Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't know if this is the picture.
Move it a little bit closer. He's going out.
Getting that check.
Well, I don't know.
Kelly, let's go to the back. Kelly, go to the back. All right. All right, everybody get in there.
We're gonna do another one.
Yeah. Get in there now. All right,
Smile pretty.
everybody say 100. One more time.
Now the Rangers.
Give me one of those plaques. I'll hold it up.
See that? It is me. Oh, it's just the Rangers.
Oh, excuse us, Peter. It's just the Rangers.
Stay in there. Stay in there. Stay in there. Did you see the picture online? Krista and I are talking, those two are talking, and Robert's standing over there going,
Thank you.
there's a picture online. Yeah, Gail and Bambi are talking. Krista and I are over here.
You think you
standing
can't
back
be
there
seen.
looking
You think you can't be seen.
Like you're all posed.
Maybe we should just do that regularly, just stand up and.
Okay. I know. And that's my report for June the 21st, 2022.
Thanks, Al.
Your Honor, this is just one last item on my piece, which is that this is our last item, our last city council meeting before 4th of July. And so we are so excited to be able to have the fireworks. You're hearing some cities and towns were not able to get under contract. So kudos to Liz and Jamie and the entire Parks and Rec team to have that for us. And so down at the high school, a little different. We're going to be working a communication plan on where exactly we're going to encourage, well, we're not just encourage, where we need folks to go. And so we'll be, Al, wherever Al is, doing a really good job of helping communicate where folks in the community can go to see 4th of July. So on 4th of July, we're ready to go and looking forward to having it.
Way to go.
Okay, thank you. We have no public hearings tonight. We have no old business. And we have one new business item, but I'm going to pull this item and move it to the July 5th meetings, which is after the 4th now. And it's what it is. It's the staff has a few minor clerical work to do on this presentation, so.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I think you need a motion to continue on that item.
Oh, okay.
Your Honor, so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Now we need a roll call.
Vice Mayor Rizzi.
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser.
Yes.
Councilmember Heck.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Evans.
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, council direction to staff, we have nothing. And meetings and dates, times?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that an executive session at 6 p.m. for Tuesday, July 5th be held in the City Council Conference Room located at 300 East Superstition Boulevard, Apache Junction, Arizona, and other meetings be scheduled if necessary.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call?
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Evans.
Yes.
Councilmember Heck.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rizzi.
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. This is the time for public to express requests, communication, comments, and suggestions. The speakers must have already filled out a request to speak form and presented to the city clerk before the end of the city manager's report. All issues shall be presented in a professional manner without personal attacks. Under the open meeting law, council cannot engage in discussions on issues presented, but may respond to criticism and may direct staff to follow up with the speaker directly or place the matter on a future agenda for a council discussion. There's a 3-minute time limit for each speaker. And I think I've got 4 in here. First one is Donna Carr.
I'm Donna Carr, I'm an Apache Junction resident, and I guess the only thing I have to say, because there wasn't too much talk about what was going on tonight as far as different things, but Brian, I don't know, is that a water catch or a retention that you were talking about? And I'm glad that you brought it up here before things started going, but a suggestion is maybe it can be used for irrigation water in the area, and that's all I have to say tonight.
Thank you. Laverne Cruz?
Kurtz, that was Levere, he spoke about the garden.
Oh.
He probably already said what he wanted to say.
Okay. Gregory Davis?
Good evening, Your Honor, Mayor Wilson, members of the Apache Junction Council, and staff. My name is Greg Davis. I'm a member of the Board of Directors of the Superstition Mountain Historical Society, also their Director of Research, Acquisitions, Libraries, and Archives. I'm also a member of the Apache Junction Founders Centennial Committee. At this time, I would like to thank the members of the Apache Junction City Council for their support for the Apache Junction Founders Centennial Committee, and Brandon Biggs, if I pronounce that correct, for chairing that committee. Somehow, he managed to keep everyone on track. I don't know how he did it, but he managed. I guess if it hadn't been for his computer, we would have really been in trouble. To the Apache Junction Parks and Recreation for their incredible work in organizing the opening program in January, and Liz as their representative at the meetings. let's see. I lost my place here. And to all the members of the Apache Junction Founders Centennial Committee, a job well done. And especially to my historical committee, which I was on. And a special thanks to Brendan and her team for doing the souvenir, if I get this wrong, let me know. The souvenir brochures, the historical posters and displays, and the t-shirts. Did I miss anything? She really did a wonderful job, really did. And to all the members of that group, a job well done. One more last thing. I brought along tonight my grandniece, Abigail Packer, for a civics lesson in city government. I might add that she just received membership to the National Society of High School Scholars for Academic Achievement, one of only 15 in the state. Who knows? And she attends, it's one of the private schools here in Apache Junction. And who knows, maybe one day she might be sitting up there on the council.
We hope so.
Anyway, thanks to everybody. If I missed anyone, you all did a really wonderful job on this centennial. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Schroeder.
George Schroeder, 244 West Virginia Street, Apache Junction. Been here 40 years. Lots of people get it right. We do a lot of good things. We'd like to think everybody comes to work every day trying to make it right. Make it right for everybody. Doesn't work. So there's a song out that says, as you say, Miss Rizzi, it's hard to get up here and speak to people fluently and just let it flow. Doesn't be so hard for me. I hear a noise, a beautiful noise, because I have a voice, and I'm using it. Okay? It's a nice song by Brandy Carlisle. My problem is they got something wrong, terribly wrong. And I'm supposed to be professional. What's professional? We're trying to make people accountable when they get it wrong. Everybody's great with getting it right. Everybody jumps on that bandwagon when they get it. Oh, it's so happy. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, well, what about when I get it wrong? It's a beautiful day in my neighborhood. So, we have a problem with code enforcement. And it's not just code enforcement. It came from the very top to the very bottom. Some of you have pamphlets that I got printed up, I requested for by the city. I got it. Please read it. There isn't one lick of truth in that thing except I'm working on my house. That's the only complaint against me. Yep, they got it right. You know what? I'm doing it right. I got permits. I'm doing it right. It's taking a while because I'm doing it right. Anybody who saw what I'm doing? Smash up job. Great. Then they look across the street and they see a fence that somebody got it wrong. They put it up illegally in the wrong place. And before you object, I've had 5 people come out and look at it, and they absolutely said it is illegal. And it changes the complex of my neighborhood. Nobody else has one. So to have this fence where it's at, and she has no more expectation of rights than me or my next door neighbor or any other neighbor. So it's a fallacy that she has more of a right to put up that fence where it's at than anybody else, okay? So building inspector said it's illegal. Let's get it right, okay? We're gonna take down this person's fence. Now, that you got, some of you, that is a prosecutor's dream, and I'm gonna use it. So either help me correct it, or I promise you, the state's gonna make you do it.
Any responses to the criticism from the council?
Brian, can we look into the fence?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Can we look into the fence?
We can give you a report on that, yes.
Okay. I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you.